I got beer in my boots, dirt on my truck, corn on my mind, and a gun up my butt. It's a small town. At least there's dirt, at least there's beer and trucks and shirts.
Howdy there. You've been on the internet all day and you come across the Death of Fun podcast. Join me, Matt McKinley, and my buddies Aaron, Rob, and Tim as we bring you the latest in current events, sports, and a whole bunch of inappropriate jokes that we used to tell to each other back when we were roommates in college. And the world wasn't so lame. So kick back, crack a beer, and join us for a few laps. Unless you're gay. And even if you are, join us anyways. Welcome to the Death of Fun. Oh, welcome back, dude. It's been a hot minute.
Oh, it's been a super. Feel like my May is turning out like a Rockies season.
The A's May has been real shitty too. Like
I'm not to that point yet, but I'm close.
Oh fuck, dude. It's so funny. Like my baseball fandom has kind of mirrored my my political fandom. Like I'm kind of a fan of Trump in ways. Like same way, like I'm a fan of the Rockies, even though I know they're not gonna change it. They're not gonna do anything that we want them to do. Like Trump talked a pretty big game, and he has done some stuff on the immigration front. Kinda, he's got stonewalled again, but he's also just kind of same old shitty people in his cabinet, and the Rockies, like they just haven't changed. And then, but it's also like the A's. I'm just like, man, they started out pretty good. They went on this like a losing streak right off the bat, and then they had a really good April, made it back. They were 4 games over 500. They were I think a half game back of the division, and they had a chance to sweep the Mariners at home in Sacramento, and then couldn't get it done, and that just was kind of the start of the schneid. And then they've just been bad, just really bad here lately.
Trump's presidency, if he were a baseball team in a certain year, would be like the 96-97 Rockies.
Yeah.
Like they're just hitting bombs, but they're still like 10 games below 500.
And then so that's like the A's. They're supposed, I mean, like they can really bang, but like they haven't been. And then like, so if like you're built to slug and then you're not slugging, your offense doesn't look very good at all.
No.
And then like, yeah, they've got a few bright spots here and there, and like, you know, they're a better team than what they're playing, or at least I think they are still. But man, it's
hard, man.
It is, and also just there's a lot of shit with Trump. It's like he talked a really big game on the Russia-Ukraine thing, and it turns out Putin's not a very easy guy to deal with, or Zelensky, or Europe in general.
I just can't believe, like, I almost feel like Putin just puts the charm on him, and he just eats it up. He's like, I mean, that's if he gets his ass a little bit, he all of a sudden becomes a fan of you. Yeah.
It's
like the one time Rob makes a compliment about him, I'm just gonna send it to Trump, and then Rob will become his friend immediately, and he'll bring him to the White House, and Rob will fucking talk some shit.
Rob will become the part of the new Trump deep state.
Yeah. Will or is?
No, yeah.
Rob's part of the he's part of the like super elite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's in there.
Oh, so I texted you the other day. Like, you remember how I was telling you, like I spent some time back east with some really wealthy people.
Yeah, sorry, I was.
You were busy, but I wanted to throw that out there because if you would have responded, I would have told you all. But it was also just a kind of a placeholder, so I could remember. I know I told you about it. So I looked up the guy because I haven't talked to him in years, but the guy that he was kind of responsible for putting the orphanage in Vietnam in contact with my mom and they were very instrumental in getting John adopted and over here.
Okay, I was like, I didn't think you were from Vietnam, Matt.
No, but anyway, they're from New York, and he's a hedge fund guy, or an investment manager, I guess, is what. But I looked up his company the other day, and they control like $9.3 billion in assets.
Oh, Jesus.
And they've consistently produced like a 19% return on investment, minus fees. So
are they China based where they're cooking the books? Like, that's unheard of.
I don't. He wrote a book on stocks, so I'm gonna have to read it. But yeah, I was like, oh fuck, I didn't realize they were like, they weren't just wealthy, but they're like really wealthy.
Like pedo wealthy?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I hope not.
Just checking.
I don't think so.
I mean, I feel like our theory is sound, but there's always, exceptions to the rule.
I don't think they're that level of wealthy. I think
got it.
I think that or that level of power for sure. They're really good people. They're kind of I don't know when their families immigrated over there, but they're both Jewish. And yeah,
Where's
but they're
Rob?
For real. But they're old money, and they have waterfront property on Long Island Sound. When I went out to visit them, I'd go kayaking on Long Island Sound. So it's but looking them up and like seeing a number of like what the amount of money that he's in charge of, are like, oh shit, they're very wealthy.
Mm.
It was it was kind of crazy when I was looking back at it. I was like, huh, I maybe should have kept in closer contact with them.
Pull up that Indian stand up
Instagram.
It's so us type of comedy because it's straight up history and observations we would make.
That's right up both of our alleys.
Oh man, you ain't kidding about that kid on the A's that just looks like he's just OCDing in the box.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude, he's he never stops moving.
Holy moly. Like his head's just moving constantly. And he takes 4 steps. He goes antsy, step slightly in, step slightly in, step slightly in, and then step.
Well, and
Butler scored.
Here as of late that he's hell yeah. There we go. Like he's gotten way more animated with his hand movements too. Like he's doing like a long stroke now in his in his whole routine. But like, yeah, you could tell he's just OCD as fuck, or ADD as fuck, and probably OCD as well. But his dad was a big league shortstop. Jack Wilson. Yeah.
Oh, that's Jack Wilson's kid, huh?
Yeah. Like Jack Wilson was a pretty elite defensive shortstop. And so it was his dad that was like, all right, well, if you're just going to move around, let's put you in a rhythm or something, So like they've used his little quirks to his advantage. And the kid has elite bat to ball skills. Like he doesn't have a ton of power, but he's got some. And he hits a lot of doubles, and he can just hit it wherever.
Shit, he's second in the league in hits.
Oh yeah.
Thank God, man. Do you remember what Jack Wilson looked like? Like
Not
one of
really.
the ugliest major leaguer. He looked like when you go in the museum and you go into the Neanderthal
Mm-hmm.
exhibit. He looks like a Neanderthal. He has a little gap in his teeth, and he had like I don't even know what you call it, the bumpy brow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't remember him. Like I saw a few highlights the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, I kind of vaguely remember seeing him, but fuck, I can't find that.
Damn it, Matt. Damn
Right.
it, Billy.
I've got too many Instagram accounts. Trying to keep them separate. Send it to the Move Your Ass one.
The Indian snake scam.
Indian snake scam.
And after our talk the other day, I'm just sending you like German memes about them building up their fucking like they're just I'm glad we're not the only ones noticing this.
Finally, it's like, yeah, I've been saying the whole watch out for Germany. Like when Germany has a big military and feels proud of themselves, like that usually doesn't turn out good for anybody.
No. You mean a right government in Germany isn't your cup of tea?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. All right, so which account did you send it to?
So I sent it to the Death of Fun, and I sent it to your Matt one, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's the snake one.
All right, I gotta. All right, Death of Fun.
And I sent it to your Matt McKinley one.
Okay.
I'll send it to the Death of Fun one too. Waiting for Tim to bitch about, why'd you send this twice?
Fucking douche nozzle.
You know what? He doesn't.
Is he still alive?
He doesn't respond to texts. He just sends Instagram stuff.
Yeah, I guess that's how I know I think he's still alive. He sends. He doesn't react to any of the ones that I send him. But
did the Somali pirates get him?
They might have. I mean, that's a distinct possibility. Fucking Instagram hates me. Facebook hates me.
Is Facebook even a thing still?
Yeah, surprisingly.
What if I send it in a message?
It's not. Yeah, I mean, you could maybe do that too. Yeah, text it. Yeah.
Is your intranet's messing up again, Matt?
No, it's just Instagram. Like, I've got the baseball game going in the background, and it's going just fine. But yeah, it's not wanting to go on my. Okay, I've got it now.
This would be our stand-up if we had this back.
I think we did an okay job of killing dead air, but
They're like, hey, Raj, it's a lot of cobras. And Raj. Now, the British colonized India. When they colonized India, they ran into a huge cobra problem. There were cobras everywhere in India. They're like, hey, Raj, it's a lot of cobras. Then Raj had to pretend to give a shit. Because that's his boss. He's like, oh my God, wow. He's very observant, sir. There's also trees and cows.
So what the British did to get rid of the cobra is they implemented a bounty program. You catch a cobra and turn it in, we'll give you a reward. So that's what the Indians started doing. They started catching cobras, turning them in. Catching cobras, turning them in. And then very quickly it felt like they were catching too many cobras. So the British looked into it. Turns out the Indians had started farming snakes in their basements. Every Indian had a cobra operation. And we were cashing them in like they were Chuck E. Cheese tickets. It's like, hello, I'd like to redeem 4 snakes today. For a chewing gum and a very bouncy ball sack. How much for the Super Soaker? 15 snakes. You think I'm made of snakes? Okay, I'll be right back. Hold the Super Soaker. That's how they found out. You thought Indian scammers was a modern problem? No, it's a timeless tradition. It's doing yoga, eating dosas, and scamming white people. Now, the British colony...
That's funny. That's really good.
You know what one stereotype I think would never pan out? Is Jake being a good telemarketer.
No.
I feel like I want to get a recording of Jake doing an hour of telemarketing in something that's not technical.
Oh,
like that would be brilliant audio.
Oh man, it would be like it'd be like that episode of The Office, the dinner party where it's just like tense and awkward the entire time. Like that it'd be that type of comedy.
And even to take it up one notch, we just get Jake a list of just old white men that are over 65. That would be amazing.
Oh, it'd be really funny.
It'd be like the Jerky Boys. and he has to have a traditional Indian accent. But Jake trying to do it.
Why is the Indian accent the funniest of all the accents?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but it just is. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just the funniest fucking thing ever. Like there was that one video I sent you of there was a bunch of meme videos of like when the whole Pakistan India deal was popping off.
Yeah. No, fuck you, guy.
Yeah, but then there was like actual an Indian and a Pakistani like diplomat like going back and forth at each other exactly, and they sounded exactly like that. And you're just like, now the meme video has been made. It was so funny, but also just terrifying at the same time. You're like, they both got nukes. They're both like connected to China and us at the same time. So it's just like, that's like Trump probably deserves a Nobel Peace Prize for that. I would say like that's one of his big home runs. Like that was a good thing to get resolved very quickly. It's not to say that it's resolved, but like it didn't last long, and I think Trump had a lot to do with that.
It's, I don't believe in this conspiracy theory, but like, man, it does ring true. The conspiracy theory, like when the collider collided in France, they tested it, and we're on an alternate timeline. Like, it's amazing to me that something like the India-Pakistan is like 10 stories down the list of just things being discussed.
Yeah.
Like, it's not Russia and Ukraine where Russia's the only side that has nukes.
Right.
No, it's two countries that literally hate each other, like Israel and Palestine hate each other. But both of them have fucking nukes. Like, good thing they're large countries. I feel like if it was smaller, this thing would have escalated a long time ago.
Maybe so. And it's also like, it's very much a disputed region. And also like, can we harp on how shitty the Brits are? Like they had
what aspect?
Well, they had one of the great empires of all time. And then, they they kind of needlessly declared war on Hitler at the time, which led to the downfall of their empire, which they managed incredibly poorly as it broke apart. I mean, India, Pakistan was real bad. Israel, Palestine continues to be real bad. Most of the Middle East, they just drew arbitrary borders, and it didn't turn out very well. And the whole Kashmir region between India, Pakistan, they both claim it, but that's all part of the breakup of the British Empire. And the Brits are a bunch of cunts. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and just say that.
Speaking of British monarchy,
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell the audience of the just crushing, heartbreaking situation I had. What was it, a day ago, 2 days ago?
Mm-hmm.
So as you know, everybody, I have 2 sons. My eldest, he's our historian. Like, he's going to be a historian. And so the other day, he asked me, he's like, because I'm very vocal in what I don't and do like. And
Yes.
I've said multiple times I don't like kings and queens. So we've had multiple conversations, and yesterday he asked me again. He's like, "Why don't you like kings, Dad?" I was like, "Because they're rulers just by blood, and they tell you what to do all the time. Simple." And I feel like I was throwing he was like asking why, but not like he likes kings or queens, but he wants to have a good argument, if it ever comes up. So I'm throwing facts at him, like bop, 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 bop. Then I finally I was like, you know who else doesn't like kings and queens? He's like, Uncle Matt. Oh yeah, I don't like kings and queens. So in the subject that I'm well versed in, I feel like that's my specialty. I can't even convince my 8-year-old to come to my side unless fucking Hero Cowboy Matt fucking green lights it. Oh yeah, Uncle Matt, huh?
See,
I better not tell him that Uncle Matt sucks dick, because
yeah, don't tell him that. Don't tell him that. He'll be the belle of the ball. No, and it's funny is like we were talking, and I view benevolent dictatorship and like anarcho-capitalist libertarianism kind of on the same. They're like the inverse of the like the political spectrum, being a U shape, like a horseshoe shape. They're on the opposite ends of the horseshoe, like where it's both fantasy land. Like a benevolent dictator has not ever really existed. That like there's been some that are better than others throughout history.
The dude who would be a benevolent dictator would have morals to not become that.
Right. Yeah. Like we had the unicorn in George Washington, and he didn't have any offspring. Like that was the guy that was like, nope, I'm stepping down. I don't want to be a king. And yeah, that we had the one, and it lasted 8 years. And that's kind of one of the downfalls of our system on the world stage, is where those other countries can just wait us out. Like Europe, who the fuck knows what's going on in Europe anymore? Like they're like, fuck
what's
Europe.
Been going on for hundreds of thousands or thousands of years.
At least 200 for sure. You know, like, but like China, Russia, all these authoritarian countries, like they can just outlast us. The Saudis, like they can just wait us out, wait till the next one, and then exert influence wherever they can. It's kind of crazy. But I still think we have a better system than most if we stuck to our original system. But that hasn't been the case in at least 100 years.
Dude, civics needs to be just drilled into the younger generation.
Well, it was like we were talking in the group text the other day, when they made that raid down in San Diego at the restaurant, And it sounds like I heard on a podcast today that it was working off of 5-year-old evidence. So if that's the case, yeah, it's kind of some flimsy shit where they're going ham in places they don't need to go ham on this immigration shit.
Yeah, did they run out of the bad criminals?
I don't know. Like, are they just they're going after the working kind now, since they're all tied up with the El Salvadorans and the Venezuelans in court. Like,
and they're raiding Casa Bonita.
Yeah, it's just like, sure. While I'm not necessarily opposed to some of that stuff. Like, it's not a good look. It's not a good look, especially when you got a fucking illegal Egyptian immigrant that's trying to burn Jews alive and almost succeeded. I mean, he burnt a lot of them. Or there was like 8.
I'm gonna enter into your brain and only your brain. That joke I said. Would you call that sushi?
Yeah, that would be
that's our code word, sushi.
Sushi burn. Yeah. It's a Holocaust joke that we'll maybe we'll say it on a Patreon episode in the future, but not over the YouTube airwaves.
I feel like our audience would be like history guys like us that would find that fucking hilarious because accurate.
It is. It's dark humor. But anyway, I named the episode "You Better Stay Strapped" because we had 2 Israelis assassinated by a crazy Mexican dude from Chicago that shouted "Free Palestine" afterwards, and now in Boulder, and of course it's in Boulder. Like, can you imagine that happening in even Pueblo? Like, you would have got somebody would have had a gun and shot that motherfucker.
You know what happened? He would have been walking out there, and one of the stray pit bulls would have fucking dragged his ass down. He wouldn't even got there.
Like imagine that happening in Greeley. You would have all the Mexican gang members and all the rednecks both opening fire on that motherfucker.
But he would be uniting in a cause for everybody, you know?
That's true. But
he's a hero.
But instead, yeah, they I kind of sympathize with the Free Palestine movement. Like, I think what Israel's doing is pretty horrific over there. That being said, what Hamas did was also horrific, and but also I get where they're coming from. It's like, we're funding a lot of that, and I don't think we should be. Like, we're providing a lot of the weapons that Israel's using on that. So it's a very heated subject, but when you're going after innocents, you're no better than Osama bin Laden or any of these other jihadi groups where that attack civilians or our own government, for that matter, that when we've inflicted civilian casualties for a bullshit reason. It's all not great. And yeah, so I just don't agree with the killing of innocents. That's why I have no love for Palestine or Gaza, but there's a lot of innocent people getting killed over there. And then sure, Hamas has a lot to do with that, but also Israel has plenty to do with that too. Like, they're not trying to go in surgically. They've leveled the entire place. They've routinely attacked aid convoys. They've killed journalists. They've killed some of their own hostages in bombing raids. It's like they've kind of gone full bloodlust over there, and it's not a good look.
You know what the next thing that happens in Gaza, what the headline should be? You Gaza be kidding me.
You Gaza be kidding me. You better stay strapped. You Gaza be kidding me. It's a whole fucking disgusting shit show over there, and neither side is so like both populations are being governed and led by religious zealots. So you got Hamas as the ruling party over there, which is an Islamist fundamentalist sect. And then you've got like radical like Jew I think it's like their defense minister is like he's a member of the Jewish Power Party. Like they're
Jewish Power.
Jewish Power.
Oh man, the white power people in the South are probably pissed. You should spread that around and see the reaction.
Should. But yeah, like it's you've got some like I don't know. It's like if Westboro Baptist was running the White House right now. That's kind of how Israel is right now. Like they're overall kind of a fairly like socialistic country, but Netanyahu, before this whole October 7th deal and then the Gaza war kicked off, he was under like pretty severe investigation for fraud and corruption. He was facing like massive protests because he was trying to essentially neuter the court system, make himself a dictator, essentially.
Didn't he like try to get rid of the Supreme Court, or what was that?
I think essentially it was like putting the courts under the control of the Knesset, which is their parliament, and rather than them being a separate branch of government. So I mean he was on the verge of being thrown out and also possibly thrown in prison for corruption. And then the October 7th deal happened, and then they've been at war. Well, can you really call it a war at this point? Like, is Israel losing any troops, or are they just continuing to carpet bomb?
I know a lot of shit's going down in Gaza, but man, every time they put up Gaza numbers of deaths, they're always quoting the the Palestinian Health Ministry.
Yeah, which is run by Hamas because they're the ruling party.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I want to believe this, but I have a hard time, man. And that's all they quote.
Well, it's because Israel doesn't release any.
Yeah,
it's like, so it's, and then they're not allowing in Western journalists. Like the only journalists they're allowing in are Israeli, or they're like, they're getting the guided tour, the Kim Jong-un tour.
Yeah. Is that the same tour where his little tugboat sank?
It might have been. I forgot. I saw a headline about that, and I meant to read up on that, but it's really kind of funny.
And he was there.
So funny. It's like when God. Castro's hearse broke down on the way to the to his grave. Yeah.
No, it didn't. I think it was a 1950s Chevy.
I think it was a Jeep. It was like a 1950s Willys, and it broke down on the way to the grave.
Oh, I love it, you commie bastard! You you don't produce anything quality.
The only thing of quality that communism ever produced was the AK-47.
Oh man, and what a jewel! Like, I mean, that's killed more people than anything.
Yeah, it's that Lord of War movie. I don't know how accurate it is. Probably not as far as like real life accuracy, but it is so true when he talks about, like, he's like, the biggest gun runner in the world is the United States government, and we're always talking like Iran's the biggest state sponsor of terrorism. Like
that AK-47.
Yeah, how many AK-47s have we bought for Sunni radical groups around the world?
Just spread it around.
Just spreading that wealth, and then then they're like, oh, hey, we got to get rid of these Muslims. They hate us for our freedom, and you're like, is it our freedom that they hate? Is it maybe the fact that we've been we've been fucking around in their homelands for the last 40 years and always seeming to prop up some really shitty people, kind of like Netanyahu with Hamas. Like, it always comes back to bite us in the ass somehow. Like that whole Osama bin Laden thing. Like, probably shouldn't ever gave him any money or weapons.
So the thing about that Lord of War dude, it's partially true. It's based off of a Russian. He's a Russian, and it was exactly like in the movie. Soviet Union collapsed. He just started grabbing stuff and selling it. Long story short, Brittany Griner gets into a Russian jail because of drug paraphernalia. She's over there. The United States government, after a while, caught that guy, right? So he's in the United States prison. He was included in a prisoner swap.
It was a 1-for-1.
1-for-1, even though there was some Marine or something that was there on vacation. They had him for a while. Well, come to find out, this motherfucker has been arming the Houthis ever since he got out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, fuck, man. It's just, I hate being a history major. You can see this shit coming. You can fucking, we may not have nailed like who he was going to sell to, but as soon as he gets out, he's going to sell to somebody that's attacking us in one way or another.
Yeah. Well, it's like all these Taliban guys that we had locked up in Gitmo for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, we tortured the fuck out of them.
Were they not rehabilitated?
Well, they weren't rehabilitated at all. Turns out they really fucking hated us after that. Because a lot of them were just randoms that we picked up, and they're like, "Hey, no, I don't know anything. I literally don't know anything." And then they just started making stuff up so they would stop being tortured. And then after we released them, they immediately went to the Taliban, because why the fuck wouldn't they? You know, it's just like, again, like, what are we doing over there? Like, we had a chance to take out bin Laden. Like, we shouldn't have ever funded the guy in the first place, but we had a chance to take him out, be done with that whole situation, and then pull the fuck out of Afghanistan and not had to worry about that for 20 years. Instead, we let him slip away, and then we invaded really invaded and stayed there for a solid 20, only to hand it right back over to the Taliban.
And then on that note, we left that. I bet, dude, I feel like the next major attack from that group is going to be some kid whose dad got killed at that disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal. And he's like, the U.S. left us.
Yep.
Like, oh, man, it's just.
Well, and it's the same thing with Ukraine. Like, we should have never pushed for them to join NATO. Like, and we've been pushing for that since the 90s. And Putin
after we told them we wouldn't. Clinton fucking switched around on that one.
Yeah, we never put it in writing, but it was like it was an agreed upon thing, and it was in the memorandums. It was just never like a signed document. But yeah, we backed out on that deal, and Putin has made it very clear that Ukraine was like the brightest of red lines. That's a direct quote from William Burns, who was the ambassador to Russia at the time. I think it was in like 2012 when he wrote it, but he said it's Ukraine and NATO is like the brightest of red lines for not just Putin, but for all of Russia. Like even that Navalny dude that was like the main opposition leader that died in prison.
That was his hands too, huh?
Well, yeah, like if you asked him, he's like, no, Crimea is Russia. Like that's not Ukraine. Crimea is Russia. That's never. It's kind of there. All of Russia is kind of like Trump is with all these wars. He's like, it would have never happened. It should have never happened. Like it was it was Khrushchev who made Crimea part of Ukraine, and Khrushchev was Ukrainian. Like yeah, it's a whole thing. But like even the moderates and the flat out liberals in Russia still believe Crimea to be part of Russia. So it's like, yeah, that's, and they've made that pretty clear for a while. Like when we overthrew the government in 2014, one of the things they were trying to do was revoke the lease on that naval base in Crimea, which is also happens to be the only year-round warm water port that Russia has. So it's like it's a literal lifeline for them. So they're like, no, that's not happening. We're annexing it. So, and most of that peninsula was Russian, ethnic Russian anyways. And they, the UN came in and like verified the election afterwards where they voted to secede. And the numbers were legit. It was like 90 something percent wanted to join Russia rather than be part of Ukraine after that whole deal. And and that eastern region was very much like that too. And at the end of the day, like Ukraine is probably going to lose a lot of territory. And
I don't even know how this ends.
I don't know how else they thought it was going to end. Like we're not going to go to war with Russia. That's not going to happen, and it shouldn't happen. But short of that, like Ukraine can't win that. They don't have the manpower. They don't have the infrastructure. They don't have any, and like Russia's kind of a paper tiger, but they can still out attrition Ukraine.
You know what? Our generation is all about sequels. I mean, Germany
yeah, it's just a shitty
Russia,
rewrite.
Germany beat Russia too.
Well, Germany's like, hey, we'll come play peacekeeping force in Ukraine. Yeah.
Are they just going to do? Is this going to be Berlin Wall too?
Like, well, like they just announced a permanent deployment of German troops to Latvia, and like, permanent, huh? Permanent deployment, huh?
Hunt said we could stay.
Like, are the Latvians cool with that? like, have they thought that one through? Because didn't a lot of Jews die up in Latvia? Like, I know a lot in Belarus, but Belarus is, essentially Russia.
What's the current leaning of the government right now?
It's more center right, but the ruling coalition is ran by a center right guy, but he's got a project pretty right wing because they have a real strong nationalist right wing party that's cropped up. And
I feel like German right wing politics it's pretty intense.
It's yeah. It is very intense. It seems like they're like the last two times Germany had a big military, like shit really popped off in Europe, and we're kind of like encouraging them to militarize again.
I sent you another one of those German movies. Like, I'm a German citizen. I just wanted to write this down and get it straight. The West is encouraging the Germans to be the largest army in Europe. Got it.
Yeah. I just like, all right. Well, if that be the case, let's not get sucked into World War III like we did World War I and II. It's like, all right, the rest of Europe is going to have to figure that one the fuck out. We're out. The Germans don't have nukes. Be like, let's, instead of pulling out of Bagram like we did in Afghanistan, like pull out of Germany, but as soon as the last plane takes off, just level everything, set it to blow, and all right, Europe, you are on your own. See ya.
Wait, Germans? Yeah, I think there's a reason why the Germans weren't allowed to go nuclear.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. But all of a sudden, I guess we trust the Germans now. Like that's, I guess that's a thing. We trust the Germans.
That's a good title for the show? We trust the Germans now.
We trust the Germans now. Question.
I feel like if we were to write a book about this time period, it would have to be that.
Well, also, and then it's like, hey, Israel, I know you guys got a real bad hand back in the day, but you're not helping your cause right now with this whole Palestine situation and Syria and Lebanon and also West Bank. Like
Syria got a new leader too, not too long ago.
Yeah. ISIS guy, Al Qaeda guy.
Oh, I of course I'm reading some. I think it was like BBC. They didn't want to throw that little chestnut into the article.
Oh no, because it's kind of like when you bring up the fact that Barack Obama committed literal treason by arming Al Qaeda in Syria, which now is in charge of Syria.
They're buddies. They're buddies.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, like they don't like it when you call it literal treason, because he armed and funded Al Qaeda, who we were and still are currently at war with. It seems like the quite the most literal definition of treason.
Yeah, and don't worry about it.
Yeah,
because the Democrats have a new idea, new way to reach us, man.
Win back the dudes.
They're going full bro.
Yeah, and you know who's leading the charge? Eric Swallowswell and Tim Walz.
Yes, it's going to work perfectly. We're going to try to get the section of America we've been shitting on for the past 20 years. But we're going to, the bros are going to come in. They're all like PC principal, right?
Yeah. You know what should have happened for the, like, they of course, the Democrats wouldn't have ever thought of this, but Dougie Fresh should have shown that he was changing the shape of masculinity and be like, all right, bitch, step aside. You're doing terribly. I'm running for president now. And the Democrats would have had to go with it because, I mean, they had to go with Kamala too. They had to go with Biden initially. I mean, like, they didn't have a choice, the party of democracy. They would have had to go along with Doug, whatever his name was. It's not Harris, is it? Is it Doug Harris?
Doug Harris. I don't know.
Sounds like a plumber. Doug Harris. But anyways, he could have been a man and be like, no, I'm not going to be the first gentleman. I'm going to be the goddamn president of the United States. Honey, you did fine. But we need a man here. Like, men are speaking. And he might have won.
And let's be honest, too. Like, in order to get bros, I feel like a white dude is the wrong guy to put up there as cool. Like, I feel like there's some cool white guys, but in the grand scheme of things, Washington white guy is not going to be cool in any sense.
No, the thing is especially with the internet, everybody knows that, like, honestly, Trump's probably the coolest person in Washington, and he seems like a terrible hang.
Yes, he does. He doesn't drink. I mean, all he doesn't is drink people by the pussy, whatever. Who hasn't, bro?
He just, like, he wants to talk about himself all the time. Like, he's funny, but he seems like a terrible hang. And honestly, he's probably the coolest one in Washington, because the one I respect the most is Thomas Massey, and he's nerdy as fuck. Like, he'd be a cool hang for guys like me and you, but like,
outside of
just
that, nah.
like broing out, like, no, he's a MIT, got a master's in engineering from MIT. He built his own off the grid house. Like, he's a brilliant man, probably not the greatest of like social hangouts, because he's probably highly on the spectrum.
I'm thinking through all these leaders and coolness, how I would see that if they could like hang out at Nickapalooza. And besides Ocasio-Cortez, for some reasons, I can't think of anybody else.
Bobert, she could hang. Large Marge, she could hang.
Yeah, but any dudes?
No. I
feel like Marco Rubio would be passed out with his pants down within the first hour.
Like fucking Ron DeSantis would try to deep throat the keg, not just the long neck.
Lindsey Graham would go full Austin and just try to hit on all the straight dudes.
Oh yeah, like he would be trying to turn every dude, every straight dude, gay. Fucking.
But
fucking
would
A's.
Not be as fun at a party as Austin.
No, I think Lindsey Graham would also be a terrible hang. JD Vance would not be like, he does. I kind of like him in the combative interviews, but I still don't think he's a good hang.
He's the guy at the party that you find where the first 10 minutes he talks about the Federal Reserve, and then it goes into 30 minutes. You're like, dude, I'm going to go get another beer. Oh, hey, man. Hey, you want to play beer pong?
Yeah. I don't see myself hanging out with a whole lot of Washington people. No, not many of them at all.
Having said that, their plan is to put these guys in front of cameras.
Oh, and they're looking for a left-wing Joe Rogan. Like, yes. They just need a left-wing Joe Rogan to get the podcast bros back. And it's just like, Joe Rogan's been doing that shit since 2009.
And you had him, and you went so crazy that he left.
Right. Like,
you had him.
Yeah, and a lot of like the big name like comedian types, they're pretty left-wing. And they didn't ever really change their views until the Democrat Party went so retarded that it's crazy. And there's some like legitimate shit to push back on the Republicans for right now. And
absolutely,
you can't take like they don't have any. They have no good argument, because even if they had a good argument, it doesn't matter. It's coming from retards. Like you already try to convince us that the dead guy wasn't actually dead. He was actually the best he's ever been.
Your girl, beautiful skin, KPG, JP. She's coming out with a tell-all book.
She's got beautiful skin, but I'm not sure she can read, so there's no way she actually wrote that book.
And CNN, I was watching CNN, and it was about her. They're going, like, she's betrayed the brand. Like, they are going after her. Like, they're all comfortable with that bit now, like, with shock. Like, oh, we didn't see the decline. But she's coming out with this book, and they are, like, tearing her apart. Like, one of them said that there is people in the White House that said she was just the worst press secretary, didn't study, like.
Well, that part's probably true.
Yeah, but now that her side's actually saying it, they're tearing each other down. It's kind of fun to watch.
It's kind of crazy. Like the only consistent figure in American politics right now is Donald Trump. Like the Republican Party is in shambles. The Democratic Party's in shambles. And Donald Trump just completed the greatest comeback in American history since Grover Cleveland. So He's kind of the only consistent one, or at least like the only like stable force of politics at the moment, and he's highly unpredictable, also very predictable in certain things.
Is Rob coming around on some of our arguments? He's been real quiet lately.
He kind of has.
You know what? But we fell into this trap though a couple months ago.
Yep.
And then he came right back around with, I can't even remember the argument, but
it was something like even when he concedes a point, it's he doesn't really concede a point. Like
no, he still got to get his stick in.
Yeah, like the whole the border bill that Trump killed, you know, and like, yeah, but you guys were implementing another 1.2 million illegals a year, like legally illegal.
Yeah.
Before you had shut down the border. And then Trump comes in, and that's one of the things he's done very well. Like deportation numbers are not near what Biden's were because they're not catching as many people at the border because they just shut it the fuck down. Like they put the military there and they shut it down in a very short period of time. They solved that problem. And it turns out they didn't have to do a whole lot. Like they didn't need Congress for that. They did. And
oh wait, a judge didn't reverse the Trump's decision. That's new.
Well, they used like a lot of precedents already set. Like he implemented the Teddy Roosevelt, like whatever it's like a 14-mile section of the border there along Texas and New Mexico. Like Teddy Roosevelt did it first, and it was never it was always withstood in court. And Trump's like, well, we're doing that now, and it fucking worked. Like now on the deportation side, yeah, like you've got like county judges trying to block Trump. You're like, what the fuck? Like, how can one single, district court block the fucking president of the United States from implementing foreign policy? Like, what standing do they have for that? Like that, like the president should only deal with the Supreme Court.
Correct. I'm sure Rob would argue something else.
Oh, I'm sure he would, but like, yeah, because there's so much money to be made by lawyers the lower downstream it gets, and it just there's a lot of shit that I don't agree with. Like I agree with the mass deportations, like especially the criminals and the ones that are just like they're like, oh, sanctuary. I said sanctuary, so I get to stay here and get free stuff, right?
And then,
like those ones, like fuck you, get out.
And then, like what Colorado's dealing with, like they claim that status,
mm-hmm.
and then they get their funding taken away because it's not the policy of the federal government, and then they're suing Trump to get it back.
Right, and meanwhile, they've just about bankrupt the city of Denver in the last years by giving all the free shit to the illegals.
Let me give you a little update on that. So next year, I think we're 50 million in debt. Next year's 250 million.
Yeah.
They have a couple of projects, like somewhere around, I don't know, I think it was a couple $100 million in projects. One of them is a women's soccer facility, professional women's soccer facility. And the other is kind of like those programs of the homeless. Like they're throwing more money on the homeless.
Yeah.
And and they haven't started building yet. My wife was asking me like, well, why doesn't he just stop it? And I'm sure these contracts they signed with these companies and NGOs are like locked tight, so they can't go back on them. I bet there's no leeway to try to get out of it no matter what. And it's just, why would you sign a contract like that?
Yeah, I don't
and
get
this
it.
is what I'm assuming.
I'm sure that's that's a big part of it. But it's turning into California. Like it just really is. Like with the A's, like Oakland has driven every four major sport. Like all four major sports have left. Or is it four? It's baseball, football, basketball.
Who is the Golden State?
Yeah,
right?
Golden State moved over to San Francisco.
Raiders twice.
Yeah. And now the A's. So I guess 3 that they didn't. Oh, well, it's San Jose. Now, yeah, I think it was just the Warriors, Raiders, and now the A's.
Dude, the Rockies should move to Oakland.
Yeah. So, but they're like, there's a lot of like the Bay Area is all sorts of pissed off about at John Fisher, and it's like, well, okay, but it took Las Vegas not very long to figure out a deal to build a stadium that's not going to cost the taxpayers a whole lot of money. And now they're going to be able to pay players way less, consider like at least 6% less than they would have to in California because there's no state income tax. And so they're going to get higher value free agents. And like the tax that pays for the stadium is all sales tax from internal revenue. And so you're just like, Oakland could have done something to build them a new stadium and keep them there, but they chose not to until after Vegas already made the deal.
Well, and then on top of all that, they announced that some of their workers were going to have furlough days, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my brother-in-law is in that category, and he's an electrician in the airport. Like, he is vital, but he's got to take, and it's not terrible, but still, he's got 5 furlough days.
Yeah.
But boy, we're going to make sure that stadium and all the things that aren't working about our problems, we're going to feed more money into it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then didn't they try to repeal the Tabor laws here a while back?
They try. I feel like they try every 4 or 6 years.
Yeah, and they always it's always to benefit education, and you're like, yeah, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. It's all retarded. It's all fucking retarded and gay. It just they
bathing, bud.
Okay, I was gonna one thing before we head out. They really ungayed the Pride Month thing this time around. Like they really scaled back, huh?
I mean, what they said, Apple. I saw on Instagram they were looking at banners or of Twitter. Like Apple didn't have it, Walmart didn't have it, and you know what? I feel like we feel the same way. We don't care what you do.
I don't care at all, but
seriously, yes, you should be seen, but don't make everything that issue the top of the issue. That's where you lose people, you know?
Right, because it's a sexual issue. Like, it's literally a sexual issue, and then you're like, let's make a whole month about gay sex. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to have to explain all that shit to my kids. You know, he's 8. They're 8 and 10. They don't need to worry about that shit at the moment.
What's killing me? There's so many months of things that we need to celebrate, and now they're having to combine because we don't have enough months for everything. Oh yeah, so they're combined. I think it was Jewish and Asian American month, not maybe I think May.
Yeah, it's they're like it's Asian American and Pacific Islander, as if they're all one category. Like, hey, you Hawaiians are the same as the Vietnamese, right? You look the same. We're gonna give you the same month.
That's the most whitest thing ever. Like,
yeah.
But So you Japanese or Chinese?
Chinese.
Like only two categories.
Yeah, it's really like they made a big deal about it at the A's here. I think it was in May, but it's like Asian American and Pacific Islander night, and like they're real, and like there's a lot of Pacific Islanders and Asians in California for sure, but also it's like I don't know, it's like when they lump Dominican and Mexican in the same. No, they speak the same language, but they're not at all the same.
You know what offense I really want to pick up steam?
What's that?
Being offended as a white person when somebody says, "Oh, you're just English."
Yeah, well, I think we should go back. I think we should go back to discriminating based on like Anglo-Saxon versus the Celts versus the Scandinavians.
Yeah.
Like I think we should go back to like if we're gonna be so hung up on race, like let's do it right, and not just lump whites all into one category,
Yeah,
Asians all into one. Yeah, like no, let's be more specific,
I mean, nothing will offend a real Irish person than calling them English.
Right. Let's be more specific about our racism. We don't have to hone in on one. But let's not lump them all into one category like that. Like,
so would you say genocide? Don't be specific. Racism, be specific.
Right.
Yeah.
Like because like if you're telling like a joke about climbing the fence with pointy boots, that doesn't play for Cubans. They swim over. Or they make shitty rafts, but Mexicans climb the fence. They speak the same language, but you got to be specific if you're going to throw racial insults towards them. Or if you know the difference and like you throw a Cuban insult at a Mexican just to piss them off, that's double points.
It's like Irish are drunk, English are colonialism.
Yeah, well, and like, but if you really wanted to piss an Irishman off, you'd be like, "But you guys are basically Brits, anyways, right?"
Oh my god! How quick of fuck, man! I know. We went to Ireland, man. They like you think we dislike kings in England? Oh my god! Fucking every single one of them, man.
Yeah, it's So like, I think you got to be real specific on your racism. If you're gonna get away with genocide, you got to be completely unspecific. You just got to wipe everything out.
Oh man! All right, dude. When we're 50, we gotta write a book.
Yeah.
Like, what's the title? What's the title?
Don't be too specific unless it's racism.
And then, in quotations, we could. What was it? You Gaza be kidding me.
You gotta be kidding me. You better stay strapped up. You better stay strapped. You guys be kidding me. All right. This has been the death of fun.